Hi guys, so now we are in another show in the World Edition. So the time flies. So if you don't know the difference between the World Edition and the French version, the World Edition's this edition's coming in every 2 weeks. The French version is every week. So all those shows, the pre-record shows, are already on YouTube or on Facebook of Drumfield Cafe. We did around 71 interviews last year and a few World Edition, like Todd Zuckerman was there, Don Lombardi, Joel Thomas, Rick Latham, a lot of people. So if you didn't know, I suggest you to go check it out, the season 1. You will have a lot of good interviews. So let's go today. We have an artist, a friend of mine. Is from Ontario, Canada, and that guy is a very good jazz drummer, and that's why I wanted to have like a guy like him talking about that kind of scene in Canada, and because it's a scene people doesn't know, but we have a lot of bars playing jazz. But during the COVID, all that have changed, but those guys still play, and I want to have a perspective. I want to talk with that guy about that scene. So let's welcome my friend Anthony Michelli. How are you doing?
Hey, Eric, I'm doing great. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on the show. It's really exciting.
My pleasure. You're very known in Toronto and Ontario area, so that was I wanted to have you on the show so you can talk a bit about your experiences and how
Sure.
was your life. So I know you by name for a long time, but how did you start to play the drum? Did you jump on the like in classes when you are in high school, or someone taught you how to play the drum when you were like 5? Or
No, I started late. Drums, I did it more because of the passion. I really wanted to. I had to play a couple other instruments before I eventually got to the drums.
okay,
So I kind of built my own drums and played at home and just listened to records and tried to learn that way. And then later on, like a year before I went to college, I must have been 17 or something, I started to take drum lessons. And then I went to college and university and studied with a bunch of guys from all over the place, here as well as guys from the States. And so, it's good. It's good.
you're from Hamilton, right?
I'm from Hamilton. I was born in Hamilton, but I live in Toronto now. I've been here for about 20, maybe something like that, a little bit more, 30 years. If I
Okay,
tell
well.
you the truth, I'm going to tell you how old I
Well, okay, so let's say you're 20. Like now, it's fine. Like,
am. Okay.
well, let's be clear. But I
That's
know it's
right,
cool.
right?
Hamilton's a great city, by the way. I've been there on tour, and I played in the arena like 2 3 years ago. And the downtown, the little strip, is pretty cool, man. And the water of the Ontario Lake is not too far, and it's nice. I liked it. It's
Yeah, it's very nice. It's just the other side of Toronto, and it's on the way to Niagara Falls and into
yeah.
Buffalo, New York, and the border there. So it's got a lot of activity. I mean, in the years that before I was born, or even when I was very young, there was a lot of music there. People coming
Okay,
touring through the States all the way up through Canada, and that was one of the big stops. You'd get a lot of bands coming through there and big names.
I
And
didn't know that.
good. It was a good scene. A lot of good artists, a lot of good musicians that still live there, and I play with some of them who are playing all over, and so it's good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Ontario has a lot of good musicians. Well, there's good musicians everywhere.
Yes.
But I mean, Toronto, the zone, the area of Toronto, Greater Toronto, man, the quality of musicianship is crazy. I was living not too far from the Rex for a long
Oh, yeah.
time,
Yeah.
and I was hanging there a lot. Even the horseshoes or all those bars, like
Yeah.
I mean, have great musician, whatever style it is.
Oh, yeah. It's true. They're fantastic, and a lot of guys come here, like Montreal, Quebec City,
Mhm.
Vancouver, Toronto. Big cities. People have like I left Hamilton because I had to go to another scene where it was a little bit where it was more going on. You know what I mean? Where I could actually
Yep.
play clubs and do tours, and so that's the main reason why I came here, and actually the main reason why I went to school in Toronto is for that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Who have which teacher did you got? Like how many teacher did you got for drumming?
Yeah, I started off with one, and then eventually got into college, and then did the two teachers there, and then university was a bunch, and then outside I did summer workshops in Lake Placid and in Banff Center. So they're all
Yep.
different teachers. I have a bunch of guys that I studied with, and I don't think it would be fair to mention one. But if people are interested, like the guys that I studied with are all listed on my website, which is just anthonymichelli.com. And it'll tell you everybody from, Peter Erskine, which everybody knows, to like first drum teacher who not a lot of people unless live in the area know, a guy, like
Okay.
that, or, so yeah, it's good.
With Peter Erskine, did he ask you for playing like a bossa nova at 40? Okay.
Actually, no. My interactions with Peter were at Lake Placid Center for the Arts, and
Okay.
I was playing. It was a big band focused, whatever, workshop or study. So the big bands that were led by Bob Brookmeyer, Jim McNeely, and Maria Schneider, who are very big names in that kind of writing style and performance style. So he came in along with Gary Peacock, who was a bass player with if you don't know his name, he's the bass player with Keith Jarrett and a lot of those guys. So and there were several top-notch musicians. So my interactions with Peter were not necessarily here's how you hold the stick and here's how you play at 40 and here's how swings you feel. It was more about how to like more musical rather than specific to drum set.
Yeah. But he's an amazing musician.
Fantastic.
Amazing.
Yeah, he's one of the many. I mean, there's guys that I've studied funk stuff with. There's guys that I studied Latin stuff with, or even Indian, music and tabla and stuff. So, for me, part of growing up and becoming a professional means, for me, and like having a well-rounded approach and be informed. And if I'm going to teach, I have to have that perspective, right? So,
totally,
that's really important. So,
yeah.
anyway.
Well, Peter Erskine is I was watching Weather Report a few months ago again because I watched them like million of times, and every time I'm learning something. Every time I'm learning something, and I'm not getting over it. Like, I mean, I cannot. It's like it's a Bible of jazz or musicality, textures. It's crazy.
He's kind of an interesting guy because he's one of the guys that did a bit of jazz fusion, pop, some funky stuff, some singer-songwriter stuff. He's done all kinds of stuff. So again, he's just one of the main influences. He's got a good book out. I don't know if your audience knows about it. It's called No Beethoven, and it talks a lot about his it's pretty cool because you get some really great stories about Jaco Pastorius and his time on the road and growing up. It's pretty awesome. So if you're interested, check it out.
Yeah, it's I checked that out. It's pretty nice. But if the people doesn't know, look at it. It's nice.
Yeah.
But it's great to talk about him because in your playing, I was watching a few videos of you back in the days and even recently, and you're very articulated. When you're on the ride, it's complex. This is not like you have a playing like very textural, but like you have your tone, you have your own signature on only when you play the ride. And I can see you learn from Peter Erskine because Peter Erskine is really like that. He's only doing like ting, 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 whatever pattern, and you know it's him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can hear it. You can tell. It's signature sound. I think I listened to Peter more than I learned how to play the ride cymbal. So through listening, I learned with him. A guy that I should mention is Jim Blackley, who's a big teacher who taught guys, like he was influenced by Elvin, hung out with Elvin, and then taught so many people, like in the UK, in Toronto, in Vancouver, in New York. So Jim helped me focus what I was already working on the ride cymbal. And he's got so many fantastic books out that even somebody who's just starting could check out some really amazing concepts without even being able to study with him because he's no longer with us. But he's left us so many great resources that he's the kind of guy that helps you focus who you are. And I think after I'd studied in college with Kevin Dempsey and John Cheeseman, these two guys, I went to study with him for about a year, and he helped me figure out way more than I thought I knew. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there's so many other guys that I've spent time with through the years that really changed the way things developed for me. So Peter was like an outside influence, and then I had the opportunity to work with him at that 2-week big band camp.
Okay.
but more necessarily, it was the records that he played on that were really influential, more so than what he told me to do. Right? He really didn't say a lot, but
It's
about drumming at least.
and well, we learn from so many, and there like those guys have so
Yeah.
many things to teach. Well,
Oh man. Yeah.
but and actually that's a good connection for the style. I mean, you're playing a lot of different styles. You can play like folk to pop to rock, whatever. But
Yeah.
you already played with a lot in '95 with a lot of jazz,
Yes.
like quartet, quintet, big band,
Yeah.
trio.
Yeah.
Is that a reason why you choose that style? Is that, or you have been kind of chosen by that side? Like, I mean, is it like a one-way deal, or it's like it's coming from both ways? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It's a bit of both, Eric. It's funny because sometimes when you're busy and you get phone calls, and it's good quality work and music and you're creating, it's easy to say yes to it because it's because of all those things, right?
Yep.
So because I moved into a scene that I was doing a lot of playing in that style, I started getting more work in that style. So it would be different for me if I started doing more focused in metal, and then started
Yeah.
getting more calls doing metal playing or blast beat playing or funk or rock. At one point, I mean, I did tour a lot with a band that was doing sort of like progressive pop, punk
Okay.
kind of stuff, and that was after I went to study in university too. So that was a complete left turn from studying jazz and Latin, right? And it was completely open, free, smashing the drums and going for it, right?
Yeah. Was
Yeah, I mean, for me, a big thing is that I'll listen to Critopsy, or I'll listen to Pliny, and then I'll, because of the students that I teach, and check out what's going on and how great these guys are, and then I'll go back to listen to Elvin and Tony and how they're playing stuff, and then you'll see Herbie playing with Vinny playing now, and then you'll hear you hear all these influences, and you can't. It's almost like I don't want this, I
oh
want
no.
this. So whether I can do it well or not, that's another story. But for me, I try to remain open, and I mean, it informs everything else. So if I'm playing straight eighths, more contemporary jazz stuff, maybe the influence of something that had different timelines or different time signature ideas, maybe that can creep its way inside that, you know what I mean? And a more modern approach can come to developing what I want to sound like. So that was a big thing for me. I didn't want to sound like Neil Peart or like any of the big names. Fantastic guys, because they never did sound like anybody, really.
No, like Akira Jimbo was. I saw him in a master class long time ago. I think I was like 16 years old, and he mentioned. I remember it's like I studied Steve Gadd, Weckl, Vinny, all those guys, like all the 90s, 80s guys, like very deeply, because the guy he started to play. He was 16 years old. Akira Jimbo, very late.
Yeah,
and it's like I didn't want to sound like them. I only wanted to pick up their language to put it on my own. I can have my own signature with their language. Because if you copy too much, you will be always second. I always say that to everybody. If you want to be Travis Barker, you will be never is the number one.
That's right.
Because so many guys like wanted to have his kit with the setup, with this, like the look like him, but you will be always second. There's already a guy with his name doing that. So you can get the influence, but put your own signature, because you have your own soul. That's what.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the reason why people like if we take more contemporary drummers now, like Jojo Mayer, for instance, he sounds like him. He doesn't sound like anyone else. Dan Weiss in New York sounds like Mark Juliana sounds like him. Like Nate Smith, all these guys, like they all sound like themselves. They don't sound like a copy of someone. You can kind of see a lineage.
Oh yes, it's possible.
Direction, but they don't sound like somebody who is, and you know what? I'm so grateful that they don't. And to me, that was really big. I was more about trying to develop something that I felt sounded like me. And plus, I can't sound like these guys. They're too good.
And this is actually a good answer, because there are so many good musicians in our day. You can be lost in translation with all those guys. You can lose your soul. Pass one night to do a YouTube night, like those nights you have nothing to do and you're watching videos for 5 hours. We always do that once a month. Okay,
Oh
for
yeah.
example. So, and you start watching those drummer, and you start to rethink about, do them good or not? Do that did that great or? But
Yeah.
don't. It's okay. You question yourself because
Yeah.
you will learn. But if you compare too much yourself to all those guys,
Yeah.
I mean, even I'm not thinking about guys like in the high. I mean, the guy even can be in the low. Accessibilities I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You will compare yourself all the time. You don't need to compare yourself all the time. You can just do yourself. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yes, yes, yeah. Interesting. Something that I thought was I'm friends with Jojo Mayer, and we talk
Mhm.
once in a while when I see him, and then just a little bit on the outside. And he said something really interesting to me, and it influenced me a lot, and it also resonated because I had been doing things like this for a while, and like developing your sound, you can become one, and then that's it. But the interesting he had mentioned was if you change your setup, it forces you to play a little bit differently, and you
Oh,
can't
for
play
sure.
your same stuff
Mm-mm.
on a totally different setup. And then also things like I'm a really hands-on kind of, I like creative sort of hands-on stuff. So I like to make things and I like to play with stuff. So from the beginning, I was, hammering cymbals and cutting stuff and changing drum shell depths, and like I was just always experimenting. And to me, I think it was creative for me because that's the way I am. But it really forced me to check things out on a different level.
Okay, it's
Some
good. Good
guys,
thing.
yeah, I mean, some guys are really focused on doing one thing, and that's exactly what they're going to do for the rest of their life, which is fantastic. And they're really amazing at it. I'm a little bit more open to discover,
Tried.
yeah, discovery and being open because things change. I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic that shut everything down. If we're not open to change, we're screwed, right?
Yeah, you you said it.
So
Do
yeah,
because of that, when you say you're trying different things on drums, like I mean, are you a freak kind of gear addict guy? Like you need that new ride, or are you more like I will go with the flow and I will try things around?
yeah, I think it's I like the things that I really like, and
Mhm.
those are the go-to things for me that I choose to play. But sometimes, as you know, Eric, I mean, you spent time in Mexico, right?
Oh yeah,
It's just one of the places, but you don't always get what you ask for when you go on tour. So you have to
yeah.
be able to show up and play on anything. I
Oh
remember one
yeah.
of the first tours in Mexico I did years ago, and they sent a drum set, and they didn't. It was a smaller concert in a run of a bunch of different concerts. So Mexico City had everything available and it
Oh
was easy,
yeah.
right? And then this was a smaller town, which was really beautiful. And the drums that they could source was not what I would play. And the drum heads were very, very old and the hardware was rusted and I couldn't even adjust heights and stuff. So at that point, it's like, all right, we're going to play some music and this is what I
Let's do
can play.
let's do it. There's not well, at least it's a real drum. I did one time a gig, a jazz gig, and it was a old Yamaha electronic kit,
Uh,
but not the recent one, like the old one with the old module,
yeah,
no dynamics, and it sounds like ting ting ting, so hard.
funny, man. Well,
Oh
good.
yeah,
That's when you really know if your hands are up to par. You know what I mean?
yes.
Because
There's
it
no
all comes from here then.
exact no range for mistakes. Like it's like do that. Oh
Exactly.
well, but it's good you mentioned that because now countries are opening. Like I mean, even all around the world, you like small village won't have probably what you want, but big cities
Yeah.
like Mexico will have everything you want. Like
Yes.
or even if you go in Paris or in
Yeah.
London,
Yeah.
for example, like I have a full kit in Mexico for me. I got a kit from DW with
Yeah.
Paiste all there. So when I want, but I want to make a connection with what Jojo Mayer says. It's funny. I always have been playing the same kind of setup. Like
Yeah.
I have my
Yeah.
two,
Yeah.
4, 5 cymbals,
Yeah.
but there I have a bebop kit. It's a
Oh, nice.
12, 14, and an 18 bass drum,
Yeah.
3 cymbals. I've changed my first drum clinic. I was so lost because I was not used to have all my things around. I don't
Yeah.
use much things, but I didn't have the same place, same percussion, whatever.
Yeah.
It took me a time for put
Oh,
my
yeah.
hands on.
Yeah. Another guy that's really big on that is Joey Barron. I think he used to just travel with, he didn't even bring cymbals. He would just bring his sticks.
Yeah, there's a lot of people doing that, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you listen to him play the drums, no matter what he's playing, it sounds unbelievable because it's not about the drums or the cymbals he
It's
uses.
musicality.
Yeah, it's his concept, his musicality, and then he finds the sound in whatever he's playing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. By talking about musicality, how you practice your? Do you have routine? Are you the kind of guy you wake up the morning, you will do snare rudiments, let's say jazz patterns, and or you go with the flow, or you have time? How you manage your practice, your own practice? I mean.
Well, my only routine is that I wake up and I have an espresso macchiato. That's
I'm taking
routine.
coffee and I'm going to work.
Maybe two. Sometimes
You
I
see,
have to.
I can be two coffees. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Après ça, it's all in the air, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So no, I don't really have a routine that I follow every single day. I used to do that more often when I was studying, lessons with teachers, and I needed to focus on certain things. Like at the
Yep.
beginning, I needed to learn how to read. So every day I would focus on whatever the exercises were to read, so 16th note reading. So for the next month, I would do that. And then triplet reading. And then, maybe a snare drum exercise. So I would do it more systematically. Now
Yep.
I just make sure that I practice, and then I have a bit more of an open idea of how to approach what I want to work on. And then I keep
Makes
a
sense.
log. I keep a lot of notes on what I want to work on and what I want to learn.
Uh-huh.
And I just look at that, and I try to work on something. And usually it takes me about a month or so, or maybe a bit more, to really get it and start feeling like I understand it through playing, not just here, but through playing, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, for sure.
Another great friend of mine here in Toronto, Vito Rezza, talks about it taking at least a month or more to get that. And even like my teacher in college, Kevin Dempsey, used to say that too. You got to work on the same stuff over and over for it to sink in. Then it doesn't mean you've got it. It just means you've started to understand it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So
because I was asking because I know there's a few drummers, they have their real routine, like snare drum at morning, and really they're organized. I was like that, like you. I'm actually, what you said sounds like my story. So I'm familiar with that. Right now, I can say I maybe do once every 2 days, like rudiments
yeah,
on a pad.
yeah.
And I will go with drums. No, right now I don't have a drum here close. I need to go to the studio outside. But at my other place, I have a little setup, so I can practice
Yeah.
every day, maybe 1 or 2 hours. But I don't practice much like before. Before I was practicing like 8-10 hours.
Yeah.
Now it's more like an hour, two.
Yeah.
And if I have a project, I will go with the songs and learning.
Yeah.
Talking about that, about your project, because the time flies.
Yeah.
You have a lot of projects. What are your current project, COVID or not? Like, what are your main projects?
Well, before this all started, I mean, I'll tell you what I was going to be doing now into the new year. But I was working with a singer-songwriter. His name is Tom Wilson. He has a book out. He's a Hamilton native, and he basically was doing I guess it's like stories from his book along with the music that was written, and that was like a quartet plus string quartet, so double quartet, and then him singing and narrating. So that had some big shows in Hamilton, Burlington, up to Kingston area, and they got canceled. And then there was another jazz guitar player, more like jazz trio. His name was James Brown, of all people, of all names. Yeah, very funky jazz guitar player. And then there was some dates out with piano trio, the guy named Steve Colvin, and let's see what else was there. Like a bunch of dates at the clubs with various people that I always play with. Artie Roth Quartet, which is a saxophone, guitar, bass band.
Okay.
More of a contemporary jazz influence, but it really pushes some limits, odd time signatures and different types of grooves. Way more, not necessarily. Well, I wouldn't say it's traditional jazz. It's contemporary, all original stuff, So those are the things that I'm working on still. To mention a few, there's a whole bunch, but
out of session, I guess.
I guess for myself, I was trying to create and write too. You know what I mean? So this gave me the opportunity to shift from playing with them and learning all their repertoire to try to, maybe focus in on some more of my own stuff. So You know,
There's a lot of people doing that right now,
right.
and since a few
Recording.
years too. Even before COVID,
Yeah.
I feel a lot like 2018. I start to feel switching attitude with musicians, thinking about more doing their own stuff
Yeah.
and making them very clear and
Yeah.
doing good production too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's easy. I mean, I have the studio. I can record and mix, master, edit, mix, edit, master, send it out, put it out. Um, I mean, you look at guys like Mike Johnson,
Hmm.
doing lessons online. I mean, he started it earlier, but he's doing so great, and he was so ahead of the curve that now
Yeah, it was like
people. Yep.
6 7 years ago, maybe
Yeah.
more. I
Yeah. Yeah.
remember.
So it's all we're forced to learn this new medium of uh, video and audio and all at the
Mhm.
same time now. So it gives us a bit of time to do that, which is a nice thing.
Yeah, totally. Hey, for the end, where people can reach you, you talk about you mentioned your website, but where they can reach you or where they can see like videos, is the YouTube platform is the best. So
Well, there's
let,
a couple. I don't usually put up a lot of videos. I'm old school that way. I don't know why. I don't think it's very good, so I don't put it up.
it's a
Um, yeah, yeah, YouTube or even my website, which has an email link, or you can just search. It's on Instagram, Facebook page. Just my name. That's the easiest way to do it. And I think through my website there's links. The website needs updating, but through the website there's links, and then all the companies that I have sponsorships with and endorsements with, they all have profiles. So
yep, it's
I'm
true.
not, they're all there, and so that leads back to that. If you're interested, yeah, it's great.
Cool. Hey, thanks for being part of the second season of Drumfield Cafe.
Hey, félicitations, man.
Merci beaucoup.
That's that's big. That's big news, right? Second season. Woohoo!
Sixth season, 71 artists last year. Now, first season, I mean, not last year. First season is
Yeah,
3 months, 4 months.
yeah.
Last summer, we had capsules. The people can watch all the capsules and on YouTube and Facebook.
Right.
And now it's second season and third season, 2021. So time flies.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much. And let's keep in touch. If I go in Toronto, Greater Toronto, I will let you know for sure.
Excellent, and keep in touch for sure. Say hello to everybody out there. Ciao.
Take care, man. Bye.
Bye bye.
Hi, guys. So we're back now. I just want to remind you, if you never have watched the show, all the previous interviews are in on the YouTube channel and on the Facebook. Like the only different thing is like we're giving more information on the Facebook. So I really suggest you to subscribe to the YouTube, the Facebook, and the Instagram. So let's go see our next guest. I will read a bit because there's a lot of stuff to say about him. Is currently a teacher at the Yamaha Drum School and at the Conservatorio de las Rosas. He's been playing for many, many, many years with a lot of different bands playing like jazz, rock, top 40, whatever style you want in Morelia area and all over Mexico. He's currently endorsed by Simpad, Aquarium, TRX Cymbals, Carbon Skull, the Rim Riser, Big Fat Snare Drum, Aram Eraser. After that, True Tones, Remart Custom Drum, Beat in Baquetera Montano, y Oruga Percussion Accesorio. So let's go see him right now. Guillermo Pacheco, ¿cómo está?
Hello, hello everyone. How's it going?
Hey, nice to see you, man, and nice to be to accept the show last call, and I'm very happy you've been there, man. It's been a while. We're chatting together, but we never met in person. And every time I've been in Morelia, you were not there. That's the funny part.
Yeah. I was at the United States. I was living in California for a while, but I'm right now. I'm back because all this thing about going the coronavirus and
I know.
yeah, it's hard times and it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, but I will say something. Morelia is one of the cutest city I've been in. It's not because I want to be cool. I'm just saying that for real because I've been there 3 times, and I've been to El Dia del Muerto,
Wow.
and I did the Pascuaro and all the Isla and all the at night, and I lived the parade with all, and it's a very cute city. Like the downtown is wow, it's an amazing city.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Morelia is. it's a huge city with a lot of interactions with culture,
Hmm.
music, a lot of things going on here.
But you're from Leon, huh?
Yeah, I'm from León, Guanajuato. It's
Guanajuato.
very close. It's very close to Morelia. It's around 3 or 2.5 hours driving through there. But I was living in Morelia since I was a little boy. I think I came here when I was 5 or
Okay.
6. I guess I don't remember exactly. But it's a very very nice place to live, and it's a very nice place to start learning everything about the arts because, like I
Yeah.
said, it's a very artistic
It's
city.
artistically, yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the main reasons that I really get involved with the music.
Yeah, Guanajuato is very cute too, with
Yeah,
all the underground, the tunnels, and they have a great jazz festival there too, like a art festival in Guanajuato.
yeah, sure, sure, yeah.
Yeah,
In
it's one of the Guanajuato and San Miguel are like two cities in the one of the best cities for visiting in the world, actually.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
So, and when did you start to play the drum? You start like you were like a kid, like very young, or you were more teenager?
No, it was when in my middle 20s, I guess, or when I was 19 or 18 years old, I guess.
Okay,
I started bit, but I really wanted to start earlier.
okay.
But my parents were like, no, no, no,
No, no, no.
you don't have to do that. You need to learn something
Yeah,
productive in your life, you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Go play la banda, but not no, exact.
Exactly, exactly. But finally, when I decided to be in the music, I was allowed to study at Bellas Artes.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
wow.
but it wasn't the real thing that I really want to do
Mm-hmm.
because I was learning a lot of music theory. I was learning about classical music, and it's awesome, but it was something that I doesn't wanted to learn at that time. I was more like a rock guy and wanted to be more involved with the drums and I did just 1 year of study at Bellas Artes, and then I start to research by my own.
Mm-hmm. It's you have great school, great music school in Mexico. I remember I've been actually. It's funny because I with Raúl Vargas we did a dual clinic in the Conservatorio de Música de Mexico, and
Yeah,
that have been a very good experience because we were the first two drummers to do a master class in the Conservatorio. So we was actually quite interesting.
yeah, it was this year, right?
Yeah, it was just before the COVID. It was like March 6, 7, 8, like
Yeah,
1 week after they close everything. So
yeah.
yeah, but well, it was a great experience. And when you started, like, who have been your biggest influence? Like one or two names, like random.
Well, in fact, I have one influence that really inspired me to start playing the drums. It's gonna sound very funny because it's a very funny story.
Okay.
I was like, I can't remember if I was 9 or 10 years old, and I was watching this Muppet show,
Yeah,
uh,
them. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and they start Body Rich, and
The
then Body
fight.
Rich, yeah, and then Body Rich start playing this fight with the animal,
Uh-huh.
and I was like these guys, and that was the starting point for me. And then I get involved with a lot of music and a lot of styles and everything because my old brother was very involved with music too, and I was listening to the Keys back then. And when I
Okay.
hear Peter Chris doing the solos in the Kiss live album, I was
Kiss.
in shock. Yeah, and I think that's the two main reasons that I start playing drums.
Whoa, that's a cool, cool story. But Peter Chris have been influencing a lot of people, and without people know, because they had better drummers after. Like Eric Singer is way better. Like, but I mean, but Peter Chris have his own style, his own way to play. And I remember I have a few friends, they were very into that. Actually, in those years, let's say about like mid 70s until 88, 90, there's like a zone of amazing drummer, and they're still the legends like
Yeah,
Kalayuta, Wackel, Peter Chris, let's say Rick Singer because we just mentioned it, but
Bonham.
Steve Gadd, Bonham. Well, there's a lot of those. Those years have been keys for like I mean like for influencing generations.
Yeah,
And
sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
and,
sure. And there was a lot of things that involve the thing that I really want to be in the music, especially in the drums, because in my family always be a lot of people playing instruments, not professionally, but for fun
for
or
fun.
yeah. But I was involved with a lot of things like that, and I grew up listening a lot of music, watching people playing guitar or singing or even playing drums, and that was something very normal for me. And
Yeah,
then when I decided to take the music very seriously, when I was 19 or 20, my parents were like, "No, no, no, you
don't do
just
that.
yeah." But finally, they allowed me to do it,
They
and
accept
they
it.
yeah, and it was something that really changed my life, my way that I was thinking in that time, and a lot of things came in the right way.
Very good for you. And actually, you are very into that scene anyway now because you kept yourself busy. Uh, I saw you all around, and you're always like, I will go to the NAM show, I will do this, I will see friends, I will play with that band, that thing, and you're teaching. So, for example, now you're teaching to the Yamaha drum school, by Yamaha school actually, and the conservatorio. How? Because I know the Yamaha school they have their standard,
Yeah,
and they're the way. So when you graduate from if you're a student and you graduate from the Yamaha school, it's means something. It's not like a just random I studied. They're gonna give you a diploma and all. How that work for you as a teacher? How you have to improve yourself to teach there?
it was very funny because in the beginning, after after I start teaching, I was playing drums for a year and a half or 2 years, I think.
Okay.
And a friend of mine called me and told me, "Hey man, I'm gonna quit this academy, and they need someone to cover this thing. Are you
You wanna go?
do you wanna go? Do you wanna do it?" I was like, "Me? I've just only played for a year and a half, and man, but
I said it's okay.
you got a lot of information. You can do it." So I decided to do it, and I started teaching since 1994, I guess.
Whoa!
Now, yeah,
At
and
that same school,
yeah, yeah,
man. Congratulations. That's a lot of years, man, of
yeah.
teaching.
It's a lot of years, and the conservatorio came
After
after that. I think I started teaching in 19 no 2017. I guess I
well,
started in
it's still like a
2017
3 years, a big 3 years.
at the conservatorio.
And
But
how you mix? Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt. Go ahead.
it was very funny because all the teachers in this conservatory, uh, all the teachers get graduated from the conservatory, and I
And you
don't.
don't.
Yeah,
Like I didn't do
yeah, it
that.
was very funny, and even though the people really want me to be in the school
Uh-huh.
teaching, yeah, it was very cool, and that's something that I really feel very proud of that because I know sometimes you don't have to prove with a paper
No,
to the
no, you need
people
to work
that
hard.
you are allowed. Yeah, that involved a lot of work, and I'm very proud of that.
Well, that's a good proof of hard working, and you know what you're doing now. After, like, I mean, you've been working so long in the Yamaha school, so that means something. You
Yeah,
don't know, but you have a degree because of that. You
yeah,
understand? Because it's so long time in the same place, you achieve stuff. And actually, my next question was how you manage teaching that much and playing with bands because you're playing
yeah.
with other project. How you manage to teach? Because my question is, are you teaching during the day or it's night? And how you manage? You finish at 9, you jump on your kit, you go in a bar. How you manage all that?
Uh, it's hard to do it. uh, I am not teaching the whole week.
Okay,
Sometimes I teach 1 or 2 days
in a
in the
school.
week, and then at the weekend I just teach on Saturdays, and then I can do all that all stuff like rehearsals and go to the gigs and everything. But I try to put everything very perfectly in time.
Mhm.
I got a lot of schedules very tight, and I
That's
think
cool.
that yeah, I think that's the secret. Be
Because
very
this is something you're lucky because Morelia, I realize, has a lot. It's a city with a lot of uh, live music. I
yeah,
remember close to the church when you go in El Zocalo, there's a lot of bars with live band, and this is super Mexico. I know now, like a lot. So, like for example, you will have one band playing in the one bar restaurant, and the next door there's another band,
yeah,
and they're playing loud. So
yeah,
it's like, who is the loudest? This is every time I'm like, oh yeah, it's true. You need to move your chair and move for getting, but you're still always getting the feedback of the other one. It's super funny.
yeah, sure. And that's the way that I really try to get involved with all the things that I do.
Uh-huh. Well, it's good because it's school of it's like a school every day because when you play in the street like that, like in a bar, I mean not street, but like in a place where there's a big rotation of people, you need to know a lot of vocabulary, but a lot of songs, and you need to be entertainer, and you need to talk with the people. But you need to be professional too because at the end of the gig, you might go home, but maybe you might go to another gig. Yeah, so maybe you will do 2 gigs at night. So you need to be professional. Like you said, you make a schedule tight, you set up your stuff, and it's a good example to
Yeah,
do that.
yeah. And if you get invited to do some gigs with other bands or whatever, you have to be very allowed to see if you can do it. Not
Mhm.
only just playing, but in time.
Oh
You're
yeah.
gonna be in the spot right on time to do your sound check, to,
Oh,
to mount all your stuff. That's all that the things that you have to consider. So
totally.
in Morelia, it's very easy because a lot of the things involve the downtown or
Yeah.
all the activity, musical activity is it's involved in downtown. So a lot of times I was playing in a cafe. Yeah, I was gigging there from 7:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. And then I got a jazz gig
Uh, uh,
a couple of blocks from there at 11. And I
I
was,
hope, but I hope you take a taxi
no, I can do it
with your
walking
kit.
because I mount one kit from the cafe,
Ah, okay,
then
okay,
I
okay,
mount
okay.
another kit in the other bar, so I can go from one place to another walking and be able to do both gigs. And
That's cool
very
because
fun.
I was thinking because the Saturday, I don't know if they do that now, but the Saturday night they close the street because of the firework,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
traffic is horrible. I mean, believe me, I remember. So I was thinking like you have to deal with that traffic.
yeah, and that's why you have to be very tight with your schedule,
Mhm.
because you just don't only think about the gigs, about
Yeah.
the I'm gonna do this gig at 7:30 to 10:30 p.m. And then I'm gonna do the other gig at 11 p.m. to 1 p.m. You just you need to start thinking about the time before that.
For sure.
Uh,
And do you sometimes are you going with sponsorship for helping you with setups? For example, backline. For example, are you calling TRX and like, hey, can you ship one set of symbol in that place and one to the other one? Do you manage some stuff like that sometime, or it's more like it's kind of hard because I don't think there's a distributor of TRX in Mexico, right? You
there's a guy
it's a
who's
guy.
in TRX symbols, but it's not in the whole republic,
Yeah.
whole Mexico. I can't do it here in Mexico, in Morelia or Mexico City. I can do it. I can borrow a symbol from a friend or something.
Hmm.
But if I have two gigs, I can use the same set of symbols. I
Hmm.
just unmount it and then go walk into the other gig with my bag and put it in the other gig. But when I was at the United States, I didn't bring my cymbals with me, and I was starting to play a lot in
Over there.
California, and I was needed to have more cymbals to do the gigs, and I called Dave. Dave is the
The rep for the TRX.
and he borrowed me cymbals
Oh,
for my
that's cool. That's
California.
cool.
And it was very helpful for me. Yeah,
Of course, this is something I realized with time. A lot of kids are thinking, I want to get sponsored for be known. No, it's not the best way. Or people, I want to get a sponsorship because I'm going to get free stuff. Not the best way to. Like
yeah,
most of the time, what is cool is when you're a professional musician like you, it's to have support. Support mean like when you just said something so true. You were in Cal, you call them, they borrow they lend you a set of symbol you can use for a few. And I did that with Paiste million of times, and same with DW. Even when I was one day, I really literally called them like, guys, I'm going to Korea, to Seoul, to Seoul. So I said, I need a kit. Yeah, sure. So they gave me we did a few phone call, few text messages, and emails, and it's done. You have a kit. Perfect. So I showed up. I was doing a TV show. I never know what I'm gonna get. But with DW, for example, I will get a kit, but it can be a PDP, but I get a kit. So I arrived there, and it was a collector kit. But like I said, it's more about the support, and this is important. And you start a family, and for what I heard, TRX, for example, are really cool with their artists. For everybody I know, they are endorsed by them. I heard good stuff about them, because they're trying to build a good relation, and this is super important.
yeah. It's very important for your playing for the things that you need to play properly.
Hmm.
Because I'm not that kind of guy that I complain about the equipment. If there's something that I can use to play and it's playable,
Oh yeah, you play with, and
I bring the all my stuff and play. I don't have any problems. I don't complain about that because there's a lot of people that, oh no, if you don't put me exactly what I need and the sizes and the symbols, I'm not gonna do the gig. I think that's not a proper way to show you with the music, because finally you're doing music. You're because you're
a
playing
musician.
the musician. Yeah, you're a musician because you love the music,
Hmm.
no for another reason. Obviously, we do it professionally, and we need to pay the bills and
Yep.
everything. But I think for me, the main reason is the love that I really feel for my instrument, for the music, and that's a prior for me. Yeah.
That's an important point. Like, because it's a very good point, because I will say something. A lot of people, if you're like a you like gear, And I have friends, they don't care about the playing. They like the drums. They like it's cool too. It's like a guy like cars. And after that, there's people they want to race those cars. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I respect both of those words. I will say it's as when you're coming becoming like a professional artist, you need to find that middle line, uh, and you need to adjust yourself because the reality to find exactly what you want not it's very rare would happen.
yeah,
When I was touring with Cavalia, for example, I've been lucky. I'm touching wood, but for 7 years with Odysseo, I asked for my kit, and I didn't. They get me the kit I wanted, and I toured for 7 years with that same, but not the same kit. I changed actually 3 times the kit on tour, but I was asking for them. I want that kit now. Okay, sell it, and we're gonna buy it. So I was always finding someone. I was getting a kit, but this is rare. I was asking really, but when I do like clinics, you never know what you're gonna get. Even if you sponsor, you have an endorsement, or you go with to a backline company. So now I'm starting to be less picky. For example, in Mexico now, when I go there, I decided to order a kit. So I have a full DW kit for me in Mexico. Is so whatever I do, I can pick it up and bring with me in car. But I went with small sets because I cannot put that kit in many places. So,
yeah. It's
but
beautiful that
it's
you have here in Mexico. Yeah,
it's a
it's a beautiful.
practical way. But because I'm going there like once or like in the state, I have a kit in the state too, and but state is big, you will see. But most of the time I will go to Cal. But if I go West Coast, I will have another kit. But it's important the kids, if the people watching the show now, is like think about what you need and what you want, and be open minded. And when you play in a bar, it's not about like you said the kit. It's more about who you are and how you will adapt with the situation.
Yeah, yeah, and not just only with the instruments. Sometimes you have issues with the audio
Oh
or
yeah.
GPA or whatever. That's why I start to get involved with audio too.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, a few years after I started playing drums, because I was in so many bands, and no one was able to know how
To
to
mix.
yeah, to mix or to do the audio stuff in the gigs. So I decided to take that responsibility by myself and start to do it, and I start to study everything about that, and I really like it too. And
And it's a good thing to do that because, for example, a good investment you can do if you don't like the sound, it's that it's this there's our in-ear mold. For me, I needed that, but you can go get a model at like not too expensive and it will work. And in-ears are I can say that are like a good investment because if you have any issues with sound, at least that will protect your ears and you can connect in whatever mix. And instead to have a shitty sounds coming from a PA, you can have a minimum of balance. The only thing, be careful because if the volume is too loud, you can make some damages. But if it's well done, it will be the fastest and the easiest way to have a good sound.
yeah, yeah, I prefer to do my own personal monitor mix,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
and, and I send a return of that
Mm-hmm.
to a little compact. In fact, I got it in here. I got this very very tiny
Oh yeah,
link,
that's perfect. I love that. I know that.
and I can send two signals from a console, or one signal from a console and another one for a click track or whatever. And I
That was
prefer
perfect.
it by myself. And if someone moves something weird, I can just turn down the volume, and that's it. Yeah,
And this is a cool one. The model you have, I love it. It's so small.
yeah,
Before was the console, they were so big. Now you can have only that in your backpack and you're safe, whatever you will do.
yeah. You can also bring it in your stick bag.
It's true.
Yeah,
Oh
it's very
yeah.
cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Hey
I love.
man, the time is over. Time flies. We could talk forever, but the time is over.
I know, I know.
So, well, I wish you a good luck. Where the people can find your news videos? Where is your main platform right now?
I use all the social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Everyone can find me as Guille Pacheco.
Uh-huh.
in all that social media platforms.
Well, hey, thanks for accepting to be on the show.
No, thank you.
Was a pleasure. Next time, if I go to Montreal, try to be there.
Okay.
I'm just joking. Now I will try to stop by. You have a great city, so be safe, and we'll keep in touch, my friend.
Okay. Thank you. Really appreciate your this invitation. Have a good
It's
one.
it's all my pleasure. Hasta luego.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Hi everyone. So let's go with the last artist of today. But just before, yes, just don't forget to subscribe to the Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube of Drumfill Cafe. Most of the information will pass through the Facebook right now, but the two other platforms are a good place to see videos, or Instagram for a few pictures and a few flyers. Sometimes we'll update some extra flyers there. So the last artist of the day, he actually recorded 220 albums since 92. He graduated from the jazz department of Franz Liszt Academy of Music, studied in at Drum Collective. He played with Gary Willis, Brendan Field, Eric Marienthal, Jim Morrison, Will Lee, David Friedman, Osnoy, Adriel Correa, George Whitty, and many other great musicians. He performed in many different festivals, giving master class. He was in Drum Channel too. He's a Tama Dorsey, Maynol, Vic Remo, Roland, Humanberg, Simpad, Prologic, Pad. So let's go see my friend Peter Szendofi. How are you doing?
Hi, thanks you very much. I'm absolutely great. Thank you.
Perfect.
And also, thanks for the invitation, and that's a great honor to be a part of Drumfills Cafe. So that's fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you. Hey, how was your situation during the COVID? Like roughly like the March, April, May until summer. Well, how was it?
You know, that was really tough. I mean, I had old gigs and international clinics and everything canceled from the middle of March until actually the last week. So I had only two gigs since last week.
Okay.
Hopefully, the August and September will be a little bit better. But and also the situation in Hungary is not that bad. I mean, it's bad, but not very bad. Just like in the U.S. or in Spain or in these countries. So also I'm lucky because my studio is in a kind of isolated area. So I got a chance to get there in every day to do online recording sessions and online teaching and practicing. So that was the good side. The bad side is that I had like 4 and 5 different international drum festival events which have been cancelled. So that's a huge shame. So it's a really tough situation.
Yeah. Well, it will pass. It will pass, and and you're one of the lucky one, as you just mentioned. You have a studio, and you can play. A lot of people cannot play at all. I mean, they don't even cannot play on a pad.
I'm absolutely lucky. Actually, I had much more time to practice things what I haven't had time spent before. So yeah, there was a good side, but a bad side is that all teaching were online at the university where I teach, and also a lot of gigs and clinics canceled. So this is the situation which I've never had before. So I couldn't thought before like that could be happen.
No, it's something special. But anyway, talking about something special, you have a special playing, you have a great playing. I just want to mention, if the people doesn't know you, I really suggest the people to go check that out, watch some videos, because you're a great player, great technique. I mean, really settle down. You know what you do. It's not like approximately something. You really do well your things, and I think you're a good example of good technique. I saw you play a lot of traditional grip, but sometimes you play match, but it's mostly traditional. So I've seen the way you put your snare drum and all. So this is a very good thing. So if the people doesn't know you, I really suggest they can go check out some of your stuff first. But tell us about you, because we are in the world. Everybody depends on where you are. But I'm in Canada right now, so some people probably doesn't never heard about you. So can you introduce yourself a little bit? I seen your resume, but I discover you after what you sent me, and but the people doesn't know you. So when did you start playing the drum, for example?
My situation is could be a little bit special because I started to play drums relatively late when I was 16. Before, I wanted to be a painter artist. So I spent a lot of time when I was a kid. I spent a lot of time with the drawing and painting, and then when I was 16, by an accident, I checked a drum show at the Hungarian national TV, where two great Hungarian drummers did a drum battle, and there was a kind of shocking information about the drumming, and I maybe the information came from somewhere else, but I knew immediately that like I want to be a drummer. There was like it happened in 1 second, and the next day I said to my mother and my father, like I would like to switch. I don't want to paint.
Don't paint anymore. It's over.
but and I want to be a drummer. And they thought first like it's just like a temporary enthusiasm, and that's going to be disappear like in a couple of weeks. But I didn't disappear, and I started to play drums in everywhere, like on a table and the stool and in the wall, everywhere. So my mother is a classical piano player. My father was an instrument maker master. So they decided to take me to a professional drummer, and I started to take lessons from a private teacher. Then after like 1.5 years, I went to a classical conservatory, and I graduated as a classical percussion player. That was in 1989. It was a long time ago, in Hungary. Then I went to the Franz Liszt University to the jazz department. I graduated there in 1992. And then a couple of years later, I got a full scholarship from the Drummers Collective in New York. That was in 1995. So that was the first time when I had real drum teachers, because in the classical conservatory, we used to learn a lot of like a timpani and snare drum and vibraphone and marimba type of things, but there was no any information about the jazz. And you know, at that time there was no YouTube or internet or something, so the only way for me to start to play drum set was like I used to do a lot of transcriptions from Billy Cobham and Steve Gadd and Vinnie Colaiuta and Dave Weckl and Omar Hakim, Dennis Chambers, these guys, and I sat behind the drum set and started to figure out like, okay, what's going on, how to start to practice it, because I had no information about that. There were a couple of great jazz drummers in Hungary, but they were really busy, so they didn't take private lessons. They didn't give private lessons. So that was the only choice for me. So actually, when I got to New York in 1995, that was the first time for me when I had really great drum teachers. So
who was with you? It was Kim Plainfield or Kenwood Denard? Kenwood Denard?
You know, Kenwood Denard, Michael Oren, Peter Retzlaff, Norma Hedman, who else? Eddie Bobe is
yeah.
So I had many teachers, and there was really a familiar vibe at the school. So there was a totally that's a flashlight for me. Like I get a lot of charts and a lot of information about the traditional grip, the match grip, the hand foot combinations, the independent, the styles, the chart reading, the studio drumming, many I think. So there was a great times for me.
For sure. How long you've been there?
I spent like a half of a year first, and then I went back to try to join some bands. That was in 1996.
Okay.
And and at that time I was working for the school, as I was like a roadie guy to set up the drum sets right before the clinics and everything. And I went to the post to send letters, and also for this work I got some free credits to use it for free practicing hours, daily practicing hours at the school. So yeah, that was great. And then I came back to Hungary, and then I had many professional projects. And then I went back to the Drummers Collective because I got an invitation in 2014 to join the school as an artist in residence teacher, which was a great thing for me. And since then, I'm a kind of artist in residence teachers of the Drummers Collective.
Wow! Congratulations! This is a good achievement.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Actually, I was reading because I didn't know that you have a position in the Kodolani University Jazz Department.
Yeah.
What is all about? Are you only drum teacher, or you are taking care of a lot of aspect of the department?
Actually, the jazz department of the Kodolani University started to work in 2007, and we have 2 drum teachers. There's another guy. His name is István Baló. He has a different aspect of the drumming. He is a great acoustic jazz drummer, and he combines the free jazz and the folk music, the Hungarian and Balkanian folk music with the free jazz. He's absolutely amazing. So I think that's a great combination, because like this, the students can get totally different approach of the drumming from 2 different teachers. And also I teach at the university like a combo classes for bands and the rhythm section and improvisation class.
That's great. That's great. You mentioned he was teaching. The other teacher is teaching Hungarian traditional music. You have some odd meter stuff. They're Hungarian. Like, I mean, the traditional is cool. I mean, in the way, like I have some friend. They were playing some of like music from Hungary, and the very traditional one can have some stuff you need to know that it's not like easy to learn like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, actually, the most difficult part came from the Balkanian part. So the traditional Hungarian folk music is mostly in 3/4 and 4/4 or 2/4, but we have many influences from the neighborhood. So that's why we have some difficult dances, folk dances, which contains a lot of different difficult rhythms. So yeah.
So it's good. It's good that you and the other guy can combine well in that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's a good combination, because it's important when you go to school. The kids is the first influences are their drum teacher or their percussion teacher, whatever teacher. So and it's important for them to have a very big aspect of all the different techniques. And just you mentioned something about Drummer Collective. Some people doesn't take the chance to apply for a scholarship, but sometimes you have to, and you never know what will happen. Maybe they will say no, but sometimes they will say yes, and that will be maybe a change point in your life. So I really encourage kids to do that. Whatever where you're from, apply for a scholarship, try, and maybe you're gonna get it. So and that's why you've been there. It's amazing.
Yeah, I was lucky because I sent an application in 1994 to the Drummers Collective, and I was lucky because usually at the Drummers Collective some companies offer to cover
The fees.
the whole tuition fee for one of the most talented students. So I was lucky because at that time they picked me like as one of the most talented students. So that was great.
Cool.
That was great. Yeah.
Good for you. Talking about teaching, let's continue in that way. You're teaching online, but do you teach a lot in person to person, or right now you're trying to push? Yeah.
I mean, usually we teach person to person, as you mentioned. But since March, since the quarantine situation, we had to switch. So we had to do all the classes and lessons online. Also, some of the classes, I mean, the combo classes and rhythm section class, it's not possible to do online because of the delay of the service. So we had to postpone all these classes and lessons. Luckily, I could do all the private drum lessons, because that was easy. Like I mean, we have been focusing on the rudimental stuff, and I sent them a lot of homeworks, and they figured out it, and then they could provide it. So that was easy. So luckily we didn't have to cancel the private lessons, but many classes had been canceled because of this situation. Hopefully from September the situation is going to be better. I mean, we don't know, but
you talking about but talking about that, you are set up in your place, at your place. Do you do kind of Zoom or using like OBS, for example, with different cameras and different microphone, or you're more like one camera with the computer and you talk to the student? How you manage that in general with the online?
Usually I use a Skype, but I also have a nice Focusrite preamp, which I use since a couple of years. And with this gadget, it's possible to use like a multi-track online lessons. So I can use all the microphones of the drum set and speaking microphones. So the quality of the sound, and also I can use 3 different cameras, which is great because it's the quality of the picture and the quality of the sound is way better than if I would use a cell phone or
cell phone or whatever. But now there's a few cell phone with crazy cameras actually. But
yes,
yeah. The only thing is like to sync them. Sometimes it can be harder. So it's that's why some people will go through like directly with a camera, OBS, and it's done. Well, that's a good approach, because I was asking you that because every teachers have their way to teach online. Some will be only camera to camera, so it's good. You played with a lot. Sorry, no, go ahead.
No, it's if you just have a cell phone or a laptop or something like that, that's fine. If you have like if someone asks you about rudiment things or practice pad things, that's fine. But if you have to use some backing tracks and if you have to use like a real drum set with the cymbals and snare drum and toms and kick drum and you need to hear the complete drum sound with a backing track, it's not possible. I mean, it's possible, but the quality would be very, very bad if you use a cell phone for that, because it needs a special tool to provide the good sound of the backing tracks and the drums.
I think one of the options, very cheap, the Zoom, the new Zoom. There's one with cameras, 2 mics, is like $300 or maybe even cheaper. And some of those has bigger version. You can even plug XLR or like 2 in, 2 out, whatever, and you can connect to other console. So if you are like last minute, you put that. And you will get a good sound. Actually, it's not for plugging the product at all, not sponsored, but you can go check. There's some videos about that. Chick Corea band playing, and you can see his recording. It's not the best quality, but it's pretty good. It's very cool
Yeah.
for getting
Yeah.
a sound and working, because I'm saying that because a lot of kids or even teacher, they are like kind of lost in all that kind of thing, and they are thinking it's a mountain to climb and it's not accessible. So that's why I was asking you how you set up your things for. And you said you had a good example of you can set up in a simple way. You don't need to go with like 10 microphone close mic. You can
Yeah.
go like a smaller
Yeah.
setup.
Yeah. 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 I usually use my my MacBook laptop with a USB cable,
Mhm.
which I connect to my preamp, and it can provide eight different channels, which is way enough for online teaching. So
Okay.
two overheads, a snare drum, kick
Perfect.
drum, and speaking microphone. That's just
Right.
with the stereo. This is totally enough
I
for
agree.
teaching. Yeah.
Even
So
for do some recording, I did a lot of recording, drum recording, only two
yeah,
overhead kick snare,
that's
good
right. Yeah,
balance, and
yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, actually the volume balance would be much better, because if you add some tom microphones, you have a chance to change the volume of the toms.
Oh
But
yeah,
if you have two overheads, you will hear back exactly the same volume level in between the cymbals and the snare drum and the toms as you played before.
yep.
So that's why when you listen to some legendary jazz recordings from back in the days, like from the 50s and beginning of the 60s, they used like two overheads, which there was a great quality, like a Telefunken or
Yep.
Neumann, like a great microphones. But still, there was only a stereo. So if you play louder, there's going to be something louder. If you play softer, there's going
Exactly.
to be something softer. Yeah.
You
So
will
this is
you will get the natural dynamics.
exactly. Yeah. So this is the most simple way to handle the balance of the
Yeah,
volume.
it makes sense actually, and that's why. And even now with electronic drums, before it's not the same, but now you can get very cool sound, because if you don't like the sound in the module, you can even connect them to your computer, get whatever plugin, and maybe the dynamics are different, but the sound itself can be very cool for working from home.
Yeah.
So a lot of people doesn't have the chance like you to have a home studio. I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the time fly. We have like around 5 minutes. So
Okay, cool.
I want to ask you. You played with. I was reading the names of the people you played with, and you play with a lot of great jazz musicians. How it happens? How you make the contacts first? And it was when you were in music drummer collective, or doing festivals. Or how would you build that connection?
It happened in many different ways. I mean, for instance, when I decided to record my first solo album, I invited to join the album as a special guest. That was Gary Willis, who is one of my most favorite bass players.
Yes, great.
And that was simple. I mean, I sent him an email. I haven't met him before.
Okay.
I just sent him an email with some sound files, and I was surprised because he gave me answer in 30 minutes. Like, hey Peter, this is Gary Willis. I like your stuff, and I will be ready to join. And
Cool.
then the next day, he called me on my cell phone. So we started to talk about the new recording. So he is a really easygoing guy. He is a phenomenal bass player. I used to listen to his stuff. Actually, I checked his stuff, his phrasing about the hip hop funk fusion type of phrasing.
Yeah.
I mean, how
Totally.
he plays the timing between the 16 notes and triplets, and try to analyze like the accents and the unaccented notes as a drummer by his influences. So I spent many time listening his stuff before. So we started to chat, and I sent him some charts, and we booked the studio. At that time, he he lived in Barcelona and not in the US,
Yep.
and that was easy to
go
have
there.
him here to Hungary. So then we started to work together, and we did several tours. But also when I've been at the Drummers Collective, that was easy to meet with many other people, like with Osno and with Jerry Z and with Willie. So with these guys, so that was easy because we met at the same building, at the same rooms. Also, uh, I had some situations like with Brandon Fields. I think we met first at the Frankfurt Music Messe when he played with the Dave Weckl band,
Okay.
and I just said hi, and then we met next time in Los Angeles personally, and we just chat a couple of
Just like yeah, yeah.
of minutes, and then I also called him to join to play together in Hungary, and then since then we are great friends. We had many different things in Los Angeles in the last couple of years. So I think it could be happen in many different ways. Depends
Yeah.
on the situation. So yeah.
But it's a great way now that people are very connected, and there's people there are less. It's normal, but like it's surprising sometimes how quick response you will arrive. Actually, when I contacted you, you replied me, I think in 15 minutes or something like that. You were very
Yeah.
quick on the response, even
Yeah.
with the time difference we have is about 6 hours, something like that,
Yeah,
7 hours, 6 hours. So
Yeah.
I was surprised like you replied that fast, because a lot of people contacted me too, and I'm very quick usually, like to reply
Yeah.
whatever, if it's on my Facebook, Instagram, or even professional pages. But it's a good example, like how you said the people are humble. And Gary is an amazing bass player.
Absolutely.
I know him since ever, like all the record he did by the past, and it's always interesting to hear good things about people like that.
Yeah.
Hey man, the time is over, so I would like you to tell me what are your coming plans for 2021. Do you have any project album or something coming?
Yes, actually, everything depends on the tough situation we are getting through now. So in the optimistic way, I will have many gigs in in the next couple of months in
Yeah.
in 2020. Also, we are planning to do a US tour with the Loop Doctors. The Loop Doctors is one of my most important projects. That's a duo project with a great keyboard player and rapper guy in Hungary.
Okay.
And we had 4 different albums so far, and we had several tours in the US and in Thailand and in Singapore and in Canada. Actually, last summer we've been in Toronto at the Uptown Jazz Festival in Canada.
Great
That was
festival.
that was one of the highlights of the last year.
Oh, so cool.
But yeah, so and we are planning to do a US tour. Actually, we're supposed to be there in April, but we have to postpone the whole tour there, and hopefully we can make it in October or November. We will see. Also, I have another project which which is my own 5-piece band. That's a fusion band. It's called Fusion Group, and we play together since 1992. So that's a kind of old band. We play my original compositions, and we are planning to do a tour and a new album in 2021. Hopefully, that's going to be happen. So because that will be our 30th anniversary a tour and album. So that's going to be the plans for the upcoming.
I wish it's gonna work. I wish you
Yeah.
good luck for that. So it's very.
Yeah.
So it's over. We don't have much time, my friend. Sorry
you.
about that. Well, thank
Yeah.
you for being part of the show today. It's so cool, and I really
That's
like.
my pleasure.
And I'm always repeating, like, if you don't know Peter Szendofi, go check it out. It's pages like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. There's a lot of videos on YouTube. You can see how he play. Thank you very much. And
thanks very much. That's my pleasure.
Keep in touch, my friend.
Yeah. Let's keep in touch. Yeah.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Thanks.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much to be part of the show today. So don't forget, go subscribe to the Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube channel of Drumfield Cafe. You will get all the information, most of them on the Facebook page. If you have any comments, feel free to write to us, and we'll answer you the fastest as we can. Thank you very much.